At its start, Benjamin Netanyahu's election campaign was all about bringing Israel back to life through COVID-19 vaccines. By the time it finished, the message had boiled down to one phrase: 2 more seats, repeatedly telling his supporters he was within touching distance of the 61 needed for a majority coalition.
It's the largest gap between 2 leading parties in Israel in the last dozen years. There is a large majority within the people of Israel, and with this majority in the Knesset, who believe in our principles. It's possible and needed to set up a stable government in Israel, a fair government. I reach out to all members of the Knesset who believe in these principles. I won't rule out anyone, and I expect them to do the same.
Naftali Bennett was styling himself as a Netanyahu alternative. The question now is whether his Yamina party's 7 or 8 seats will be enough to get Netanyahu over the finish line.
There's no reason why we should go to a 5th election. And they must come to Netanyahu and say, we want to be part of the government, we accept the results of this round, and form a right-of-center government that could aggressively pursue the opportunities we have ahead of us.
Earlier, election day itself had been hot and hazy, a running tally of ballots cast suggesting the lowest turnout in years. Netanyahu crisscrossed the country to squeeze out every last vote, warning his core voters that turnout was particularly bad in his Likud strongholds. But it was in Palestinian-Israeli areas where the fall-off seemed most severe. The mainly Arab joint list, with 15 seats in the previous parliament, is projected now to have as few as 8, after splitting in 2, the smaller group failing to get into the parliament at all. Meanwhile, the far-right religious Zionist alliance, promoted by Netanyahu and featuring an advocate of removing disloyal Arabs from the country, outperformed expectations. Opposition leader Yair Lapid says relying on their seats would create a homophobic, racist, illiberal government, and one that would shield Netanyahu from his corruption trial.
I
think we can have a good reason to be proud of the way we handled ourselves, and even a bigger reason for the result we brought. At the moment, Netanyahu doesn't have 61 seats, but the change bloc does.
The exit polls have already changed several times since their first release. Coronavirus voting and counting protocols could delay the official count until Friday. Benjamin Netanyahu has claimed victory before, only to have it dashed away. This time he does have some options, perhaps a campaign to try to peel away defectors from other right-wing parties. Israelis in 4 elections now have delivered almost identical verdicts, and again it's over to the political deal-makers to try to find a way out of the gridlock. Fawcett, Al Jazeera, West Jerusalem.